Okay, family, I want to talk to you about everyday carry, EDC, end times warfare, battle essentials. So, I'm recording this ahead of time for Thursdays are a normal end times chat, and this is for Thanksgiving. So, I hope this helps stick the subject in your brain. And we've talked many times about the presence of God brings peace, but it also brings protection. We're heading into some spiritual warfare. There may be also physical warfare, but we're heading into some spiritual warfare, stepping up the level. And there's some battle essentials that I'm not sure everybody has in their everyday carry kit. Your most important weapon is worship. Seems very namby-pamby to talk about that now. But remember, we're talking about spiritual warfare, not physical warfare. And we cannot do this ourselves. We have to have the presence of God. Worship is inviting Him in and recognizing His presence. If you go through Ephesians 6, it talks about your spiritual armor. But the last thing is, what is the purpose? Okay. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. Okay. This is spiritual to handle spiritual situations, which in the natural we are not equipped to handle. There are a lot of stories in the Old Testament, most specifically Jehoshaphat and Joshua, where they were absolutely outnumbered, but invited the presence of God and were obedient to Him. There were a lot of times in the New Testament where, like Paul and Silas, singing after they were beaten and whipped and in jail, singing praises, and God sort of sang bass and opened up the jail for them. Peter, in the sense of worship, in the sense of he was in jail and he could have lost his life, he went to sleep. That's trust. This is not necessarily easy. There have been times where I have been so scared and out of my mind with worry and fear that couldn't sleep. The only thing I could do was sing Jesus Loves Me until I fell asleep. I have seen God break open some incredible miracles. And it wasn't because anybody was a fancy prayer, but because we were worshiping. Don't neglect this in your kit. It is the key to success because you're inviting the presence of the Lord in. You're inviting the supernatural, the spiritual presence of the Lord in. It's like Star Trek when you put your shields up. You can take a hit, but it's not, if your shields are up, okay, it requires some energy to stay powered up, but you're not taking on any damage. It's when your shields are down, you're in trouble. So shields up. This needs to be part of our kit every day to walk in the presence of the Lord. And that's only going to happen by worship, not because He needs it, but it's critical survival for us. So, on this Thanksgiving Day, at least in the United States in 2025, worship, thanksgiving, praise to God, that is critical in your everyday carry kit for the spiritual warfare that we are headed into if we're not already there. I can tell you that in my own life, I've seen a lot of things break free. No other way but because of worship. Now, don't neglect it. It seems so obvious, but don't neglect it. And if you need a refresher in the sense of what does your spiritual armor look like, and my personal opinion is we should be putting it on every day. Go to Ephesians 6, verses 10 through 18. Okay. This is essential. Don't forget it. Don't neglect it and say, oh, I don't need that. That is vital. I can't stress this enough. Okay. And you can't remember anything. You can't remember scriptures. I've been there. You can't remember scriptures to save your life. You can't remember all those worship songs at church. Only thing I could sing was Jesus loved me until it calmed down enough to hear from God and bring his presence in. I've been there. I hope I never get there again, but it's possible. But I have learned that worship is the purest, truest, strongest warfare that we can do. So, all God's best. Have a fabulous day, full of the recognition of the blessings of the Lord. Talk to you soon.